A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twin Flame Union. In this channeling session, the divine counterparts are going through a feeling that I don't need your support. Thank you. I don't need your support. This is the statement that was channeled at first. And after that, the other things will come and I'll explain the whole energy of this channeling to you. And why is this happening and what's in store later on. So this is obviously happening after the Divine Feminine's chaser energies have been stopped. And this channeling will only apply to those, specifically those Divine Feminines who have stepped out from the chaser energies or the energy where they are in waiting energies. Specifically those. If you are still in the waiting energies and in the chaser energies, then this will not be applied to you or for you, neither to your divine masculine counterpart. So what has happened here is that after trying to surrender, and if you have stopped the chaser energies or if you're not in those waiting energies, it's also because most probably either these divine feminines have found a mission, or they have found a life purpose, or they have truly found something that makes them very happy, very independent. And they can also use it as a tool in their ascension journey. So all seekers have one tool or some tool which helps them in doing source integration, which helps them in coming back to the present moment. So the work also is a tool like that you could be down in the dumps, you could be very frustrated or depressed because of something, but you have something to do, something to look forward to. So you wake up every morning, you're excited that I'm going to be making this much money, or I'm going to be going here or there, I'll be meeting people. And it's not just about the whole aspect that, things are happening, you're doing something, because the feminines have done a lot of things before also. It really didn't help her because she was putting in extra effort. This life purpose, life path, or something she loves, a lot, something that comes from her soul, actually is very effortless. So when your effort is less, but your excitement is more, and you're very much positive, you don't care about the naysayers, you don't care about pleasing other people. You don't care about what others are going to think about you. And you are very much that type of a person who doesn't even give importance to negative people. Like, there are people who try to bully others. There are people who try to get some attention seekers, people who bully. There are people who are doing very bad things in the society only to get some kind of a name, fame, publicity, some kind of, huge amount of money. And they are willing to do anything for money. Those are the wrong types of people. And when they come on her path, because she's on mission work or she's doing something she loves, she's building something she loves, with a lot of compassion, and here she is also doing it for other people. It's not like only she is happy or she's deriving something out of it, but others are also happy about it, especially those who need it. As I said, that there's always a thin line between, doing things to please others and doing things that make other people happy. In being extremely materialistic and being totally abundant. Money will be involved in both the places. Whether you're a materialistic person or whether you're an abundant person, you will be dealing with money. But right now, you'll also remember that this is temporary, as in your life is temporary. This money or this wealth or this property, I cannot take with me. No one has. Most famous people, most popular people, most successful people, big politicians, actors, dancers, celebrities, millionaires, billionaires, none of them have taken a penny from here, or they even can take a penny from here. Once you're dead, you're dead. End of story. Okay? And when a person is dead, it's dead. Nothing can revive it back. So with this understanding in your mind, and I'm talking about the Divine Feminine, they have to live in such a way, the lifestyle is such that number one, it is free of codependency issues. Number 2, she is financially independent. And number 3, she is supremely confident about who she is. If this identity, bodily identity, physical identity, is any which way temporary and it's an illusion, so why get so attached with it? Why not try to find out what is the thing that runs it? Find out about the life within the identity, the life that's behind the show, behind the screens, who's doing the behind the scenes work actually. Also, this brings a kind of confidence in her. And I've been noticing that about a few months back, I was working a lot on the root chakra. Then it has gradually moved to sacral chakra, and I know it is going up to the solar plexus. In the earth's ascension also, it is very important how the feminines are placed. As in, there are certain feminines who are born in the 90s and in the 80s, and those who are born even before that, they are all supposed to come to a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of understanding, experience freedom and experience detachment. And detachment is not a very boring thing or a depressing thing. After you get detached, you don't have anything else to do, anything left to do. Well, actually, after you get detached, then your real life begins. Your real life will start when you totally get detached from everybody, because then the relationships you will form, they will all be mission oriented and they will all be coming from your soul. All your connections, your relationships, and with those with whom you don't have any soul connection and with whom you know that it is just a materialistic connection. In Hindi we have a word called dunyadari, which means, handling the affairs of the world, worldly world, So when you're living in the worldly world, you would be you'll be able to manage with people, because a lot of divine feminines would raise their hands when I say this, that they really cannot fake anything. They cannot fake the smiles, they cannot fake even if they had a relationship where they were the ones who were tormented, or they were the ones who went through trauma, that time also they were not faking anything. Whether or not they were going through trauma or whether or not they were suffering, but the love that they showed to them, to other people, was real. And only when they could not fake it, that's when the relationship would start crumbling, because most other people, especially the karmics, are very good in faking. She has to become the queen of her own world. She has to become the queen of her chakras, because the energy that comes from the chakra, that helps in balancing her life. And as I keep saying it cannot happen without source integration. It cannot happen without mission work. There are many people who look very religious. There are many people who look very spiritual. You have a talk with them, oh my God, you will be shocked with the way they speak or with the way they carry themselves, the clothing, the attire. They are a walking, talking, trademark. They have copied the gurus, they have copied the spiritual people to the T. And they're all psycho-narcissistic people. There are a lot of people, all of the problems that you're seeing in the world right now, war, famines, untimely deaths, population, and the worst of all is pollution. These are the ills of the society, and they are all existing in the society because of huge amount of dependency issues. Because a lot of people, they believe in, things like, if I want to be powerful, I got to do the wars. That's why I keep saying the matriarchy was unhealed. The divine masculines are unhealed. And they cannot work on certain things. They cannot team up with the feminines. They just cannot be present because they don't even know what it means to be a fully awakened masculine. They were awakened to a certain level, especially about love, especially about what they want. And that's the reason why they ran away, because they saw that the divine feminine is not in her senses. And when I say not in her senses, I mean the 5 senses. She had the 6th sense, obviously, but she's not able to cope up with the worldly things. She's not able to control her life. So, he saw her a certain way initially. There was a certain image he also fell in love with. But the more he started interacting with her, the more he felt she is very clingy, she is very needy, she is always dancing around him, she has no individuality of her own, she doesn't do anything of her own. And if she is doing certain things of her own, he just has to trigger her, and that's it. That's it. She will lose the self-confidence. So it's very important not only to clear the root chakra, but also to clear the sacral chakra, and most importantly, the solar plexus. So once the root and sacral is healed, fully healed, you'll find it out. You'll get to know. This is not something that, you need a validation for. You may have questions which can be answered. Maybe you need counseling. Maybe you need therapy. That is a very normal thing. But you will feel the change within you, and that's why a lot of divine feminines will feel like pursuing this path. When they feel more relaxed, when they feel more confident, when they feel more content, or they have some kind of direction. When they find some kind of direction, they know that I am probably not going in the wrong path. They feel more confident, and that confidence brings some kind of relaxation in them. So what happens technically is that they both have to learn that they need to create their own inner system of support, and especially the divine feminine, because her connection, her heart connection, it is connected to the divine masculine. And by this I don't mean that the divine masculine only has to be your boyfriend or your husband or your lover. The divine masculine, maybe in future you only choose him to be your best friend or to be a very good friend of yours. You only say that, well, I think he's a very good friend of mine and he can always be a good friend of mine. In future, anything can happen, but why bother about the future? Why bother about something that's not even here? Why not focus on the present time, the present moment, and see what are the insecurities I am facing right now, and write them all down. And write them down that why do you have these insecurities in the first place? What is the reason? So in this channeling session, what's happening is that there are couple of divine feminines, and I'm saying couple of because there are more in number, who have been in this journey for a good number of time, and they were awakened souls right from birth, but they chose to suffer. They chose a life of suffering, full of suffering. They did not mind it at all. For a long time, they did not mind it at all. But it went on and on and on and on. It went on piling up, piling up, piling up. There was a time when the same divine feminines lost interest in money. They lost interest in jobs. They lost interest in everything. And then they started losing interest in the relationships around them. And this is the same time when they also formed some very stable connections, and some of them found the way to the mission work. When those people who found the purpose of their life, or they got back on their life path, then they realized that there's no point depending on other people, on the worldly world. I need to create my own resources on my own. And these are the feminines who also understand that the divine masculine cannot support them. He himself is living in lack and limitation. He himself is suffering. He himself is in pain. And again, I don't want you to have sympathy for him and then forget everything that you have done so far, and then again start thinking about him. You're not supposed to chase him or wait for him even when you're not with him. And every time you think about him, you have to change the thought. You have to replace it with something else immediately. You have to stop daydreaming about him. You have to stop, like when you're in your sleep and you have a dream about him, and then, you have to wake up, but you don't want the dream to end. So you continue to sleep, you continue to lie down, and you start writing the screenplay, you start directing the movie, and you are basically imagining that you and him are doing this or that. And then at least 1 hour goes away in that, and that is the first thing you do in the morning. And you should know that the things that you do early in the morning will have a lot of impact throughout the day. And throughout the day, your emotions will also change. There are days when you start really fresh early in the morning. You're like very gung-ho, very excited, very positive. But by afternoon, by evening, you lose your energy. You're back to feeling bad about yourself. You're back to feeling depressed and sad. And you're making comparisons with other girls. Oh, look at this one. She's so ugly and she's so weird, but she also has a boyfriend. I mean, if people like her can have a boyfriend, what is wrong with me? You know, maybe you're in the mall, you see this really weird couple, a guy and a girl, very happy, holding hands, and you look at them and they look like, you know, they are not the types who could have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Even they have one. These type of comparisons, I know it sounds funny, but there is also some kind of, you know, it's little sad to even feel like this about other people. Why should you look at anyone and, you know, say that they don't look like they could have love in their lives? So these type of comparisons, or sometimes she thinks in a other way, like she's not good enough. You know, maybe she looks at a hot girl, or she looks at a very well-dressed girl with nice makeup, nice hairstyle, very fancy clothes or something, and she's walking hand in hand with a boyfriend or lover or husband, and you go like, oh my god, she's so high-end, so fancy, such a chick, such a classy chick. And look at the guy, look at her husband, and maybe she has some kids also, 1 kid or 2 kid, and they look like this perfect couple, perfect family, such a good looking man, such a good looking woman, such a good looking family, you know, well raised kids. They have a fancy car, and she goes, oh my god, this is never gonna happen to me. You know, this is never gonna happen to me. Neither do I look like this woman. And, you know, maybe my divine masculine is very good looking or very amazing or attractive, but I am not. And if you actually, you know, get the power or the ability to look into the divine masculine's mind, you'll laugh, or you'll be amazed, you'll be shocked. But he is literally thinking that he is not at all worthy of you, of the divine feminine, not at all good looking. You know, maybe he has some issues which only he knows about, maybe something to do with his body, or maybe something to do with him. Or, you know, he feels it's a big deal, like the way she's feeling, it's a big deal to not look classy, to not have those branded clothes, to not be riding a fancy car. So the problem has always been of support system. One was getting too much support in his life, and the other is getting very little support or no support at all in her life. So there is an opposite polarity, but whether you have too much support or whether you have no support at all, both are toxic and both are going to create problems in their lives. It's not necessary that you have a physical union, 3D union immediately, but it's very important to have a complete emotional journey within yourself wherein you go step by step up. And I have shared a video on star seeds. It's on my channel, the Suna Moon Vlogs. Do watch it, because most twin flames are actually star seeds. And in the past, the divine feminine and masculine examples that I have given from Indian subcontinent, from where actually the concept of twin flame was created, and now it has moved to the whole world and all the Western countries, and it is probably gonna come back to India, because it was the Indian subcontinent, which includes Nepal and all the other countries as well. It was in Indian subcontinent that the concept of twin flame was given way more, you know, a lot of importance, and lifestyle was revolved around that. Everyone by birth, since birth, would get into inner work stage. Everybody was sent to Gurukul, be it a girl or be it a boy, and they would study over there, they would learn over there. They would work on their chakras at a young age. So by the time they were of a marriageable age, or, you know, as per destiny, as per astrology, whosoever would turn out to be the right partner, they would actually see this person as, you know, this is the person who's also going to play a pivotal role in my ascension. But most such people used to find some kind of an inner connection. They used to have a stronger source integration as compared to other people in the world. And that's the reason why India was called the land of, you know, actually it was called the golden bird, Sone ki chidiya. India was called the golden bird because there was so much prosperity. People were so wealthy. People were mentally very wealthy, emotionally very wealthy. So definitely they had a lot of abundance. Every woman was full of gold and, you know, all types of jewels women used to wear. Women used to look very good. They used to dress up really well. And the concept of, you know, bachelorette that you see now on television, it was prevalent in India back in those days as it used to be called Swayamvar. Swayam means self and Var means a husband or a partner. So Swayamvar was a process where one woman used to choose from a list of men, and all those men used to, be in front of her, and if not a Swayamvar was organized, then too a woman could choose any partner, any man. Their sacral chakra was so strong, they would not really need a man to fulfill their sexual wishes just like that. Women were not doing one night stands and having casual flings. They would really test the men before, knowing that they are worthy or not. Even if they would have affairs, there was nothing like they did not have affairs. In fact, back in those days, in golden age, the matriarchy is such that one woman could also have multiple husbands, like how men have multiple wives, but it was the time when women used to do that. And she could have different children from different men also. It was not a necessary thing, but they were not so plastic and they were not so materialistic. Like if you look at the Kardashians who are living in this concept of baby mamas and things like that, they're also very toxic at the same time. I mean, with no offense to anyone's toxicity, but if you look at the whole divorce battle or the whole divorce saga between Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, they are trying to make him look like he is the one who has the bipolar disorder. He is the one who's the bad man. He is the one who needs to be, punished or scrutinized, and he should not get custody. And this is all being done for custody so that eventually he begs to them. But if you look at all the sisters, every single sister is doing the same thing. Either they have stolen other men, or they have made the man look crazy. The man is looking like he's a cheater. Like if you look at Chloe and Tristan, they say that Tristan has cheated on her so many times. But sometimes to me, it looks like it's all fake. Because how can a man who's cheated on her so many times, every time there is a video recording or every time they're shooting together, he's all crazy about her. He's all go gaga about her. He's constantly on Instagram, he's doing PDA, constantly he's flirting with her, even when he's living with her, even when he has a child with her. You can see how much he loves her and cares for her. You never know, they could be doing all these things for TRP and he must have just said yes to everything. Like, yeah, okay, fine, anything for you, my love. That type of a man. And he was very happy with another girl called Jordan, not this Jordan but some other Jordan with whom he has one son, and now Chloe is in the process of having another child with him, and she is saying that I am going through an artificial IVF process. Like they are living together, they are hanging out together, they are under the same roof. He is a very affectionate father, and still they are trying to fool the world that because of the cheating and because of this and that, I'm not going to, have a sexual relationship with him, but I'm going to have a baby still with him. This does not make sense that if a man is so bad, if he's cheating on a woman while she is about to deliver a child, why would they even allow him in the labor room, and why will they even allow the shoot to happen with him? And then why is he getting completely disgraced from the whole world? These type of things that I'm sharing with you, you will not hear them in mainstream media because mainstream media is mostly paid. Now, one more thing that is coming out, that when I look at the Kardashians, it's really easy to see that they all suffer from NPD. All of them have the narcissistic personality disorder. Other than Kourtney, you could say that, she's slightly, but though, even though she's slightly better than them, but still, she is still hanging around with them. There is codependency issues that she has majorly. You don't know what happens behind the screens. If on the screen they're slapping each other, hitting each other, humiliating each other, you can imagine how they live behind the screens. So Kanye West is being shown as the person with bipolar disorder who gets all these attacks, who's the crazy guy, who's this, who's that, who's a bad person. And she is the one who's the angel, who's the most amazing woman. And she's the one who was, making nude videos with her, topless videos with her husband and doing all kind of crazy things. And he, after some time, started objecting it. He started saying that as long as I wasn't married and as long as I was young, I was in the impressionable age, I did not know any better. Now you're my wife and now we have children. I don't appreciate it when I see you dressed like this. And of course, Kim is famous for her nudes that she used to share on Twitter. And still she says that she feels bad about her tape and things like that. So this is toxic femininity, and I'm sure she is suffering too. It's not like she is not suffering. She must be having a lot of bodily issues because of all the excess fat that's there in her hips, and then all the diseases, other diseases she has, and then you have to maintain this image that you are a good person. No matter what you do, you are a good person. This whole battle of being good, bad, actually people who try to be too good are the ones who turn out to be really bad. And those who are always trying to be very bad, look very bad, are the ones who are probably good. But they are so bad because of their actions and behaviors that they get reprimanded by the society. So what is the whole thing about being good and bad? There's nothing in it. You should be neutral, and as per the situation demands, you should act whether you need to be a good person at that time or you need to be a badass at that time. You need to figure it out as per the situation. And that also can only happen when your inner support system is very strong. When you don't look externally for support, you are very intuitive and you can immediately go within and you can talk to your masters, even if you have to cry for a day, even if you're like, you don't have the answers. But when you keep asking them, you keep you don't leave them. You just keep asking them. You keep, requesting them to help you out. They will make sure that you feel better. And trust me, I only speak from my experience. I don't speak from any books. I may have read a lot of things because I love to research. Research is a part of what I do. Without research, all of you divine feminines, you all research a lot. But it's only your experience, when you figure things out from your own experience, only then you can have that amount of confidence also. Confidence also comes when you ascend via the right way. Then you're like, oh my God, this actually works. I spoke to my masters last night and look at this. Today, I'm feeling a certain way and I'm feeling so relaxed. And you'll probably get clairvoyance. You'll probably get, if you haven't advanced to that level yet, I've been getting clairvoyances since childhood. So I would say that it was with me even when I was in a very bad situation, even when I was living in a haunted house and I did not know it was a haunted house. I used to get very clear messages, very clear clairvoyance messages. So those things have actually been passed on from my ancestors also, because a lot of my ancestors were into certain, they had certain gifts, so they were passed on, maybe, I think so. But all divine feminines can develop these. This is not so difficult, but of course it's difficult. You'll say, oh, this is not difficult, really, Sunaman. It is difficult, of course it is difficult, but as you keep rising up, as you keep ascending, and those of you who are already experiencing this, please raise your hands, please let me know. As you start feeling better and better and better, you begin to understand there is something different going on here, and that's when you start enjoying the process. And even if you go through darkness and bad feelings, and during that moment it really hurts, I know, I can imagine it really hurts, but when you're out of it, everything makes sense, everything falls into place, the puzzle is solved, and then there is something else, and then there's something else, and then there's something else. But keep talking to your masters, don't let the connection go, and they will guide you. In many cases, if you're not getting some clairvoyance messages, then like I said, maybe a channeling comes to you. Maybe you see a huge signboard which has something written on it which you cannot ignore at all. You are like, it's exactly the answer of your question. Like if you have just asked do you think this will happen? And you see, yes, for sure, written something like somewhere. You go like, oh my God, I just asked this question. How come I'm seeing this? So these are the ways that universe will respond to you or talk to you. And I can say something really interesting happened last evening, and it was purely intuition, I feel. So there's a backyard garden, there's a park behind my house where I go to feed my street doggo friends who I really love, and they give me so much energy every day, so much unconditional love I receive from them. So, my day starts with them and my day will end with them, of course. So I was spending time with one of the dogs, and so I was in the park, in the ground, and there is my house, which is a huge building, of course. It has like 3 to 4 floors with a terrace, okay? So when I'm in the garden, there is no chance, or there's no way that I'm going to look up. There's no way that I'm going to look up. So I was talking to this boy, this doggo, and he is like, one of my favorites. He's a very, very decent boy. So whenever I'm spending time with him, I'm normally not looking here and there, but suddenly I had this very strong urge to look up. And when I looked up, I saw that on the terrace, another dog friend of mine, she was on the terrace and she was standing on the wall of the terrace, and it was damn scary, and she was crying. And I was like, oh my God, how did she get locked in the terrace? So somebody, maybe she went to the terrace, maybe she, dogs do that, dogs can go anywhere. She must have gone to the terrace in the afternoon, because that's the time when some laborers had come. There's some construction work going on in my house and in my building. So some laborers had gone up to do some work, and she probably followed them. She went there and they did not realize it, and they locked her over there. She got stuck over there, and she was stuck there for a few hours. And obviously, if I would not have seen her by evening, because she's normally with me most of the times, then I would have really freaked out, and I would have roamed the streets of Delhi throughout the night looking for her. But of course, the universe did not want me to go through that, and they probably had, I have other chores, and there are other babies, other children as in the dogs also, who I look up to. I have to go up to them, I have to meet them. So the whole routine would have got disturbed yesterday, and I would have been very emotionally upset. But I looked at her, and I told the other dog that, okay, you chill here, I'll just come back. I went upstairs, I ran to the terrace, I opened the door, and she came screaming to me, like shouting and screaming to me. But the whole thing was really amazing, because there was no chance and there was no way for me to look up. Because even though she was crying, the sound wasn't reaching to me. And she must have been really worried. And if my dogs are worried, I will get worried sooner or later. So it was really amazing. The timing was amazing. I could have looked up maybe 5 minutes before, or maybe 10 minutes later on, but I looked up at exactly the same time. And maybe she also smelled it, or she sensed it, or animal instinct is even better than humans. So messages from the divine are always coming to us. The only thing is that we need to be more and more open, and we need to be more and more connected to the source. The more we'll connect with the source, the more we'll have strong support system, the masters, the guides, the angels, the benevolent beings. In fact, there are certain types of masters or certain types of guides. I won't say masters, because masters are never, they're always on the same page, and they are just so amazing, like powerful souls. But there are certain guides, especially for the twin flamers, because twin flamers are star seeds as well, as I said. So they have, they have certain connections. Sometimes they quarrel when the twin flames have not healed. They themselves start quarreling, or there are certain planets which are in quarreling position for a certain number of years. So the guides are also, arguing with each other, and the person below is like confused. So once you heal, all those guides will all be in unison, and you'll also have to make prayers that, all the guides who are fighting or quarreling, kindly do not do that. You can say all these degrees every time you hear the channelings, and I say something like this, you can just pause for a while and you can say this, that I make a prayer that all my guides are in unison. Everyone is helping me. They are there for me, and I never forget to talk to my masters. Always talk to the masters, always. I'm not saying guides and angels won't help you, or the benevolent ETs won't help you. They will. But talk to the masters, because masters are the ones who are going to help you in the best possible way. Everybody else wants to help you. That is also there. But of course, the connection with the masters is what will make the connection with everyone else also strong. So once your connection with the master, with the source is strong, all the guides who are also like thinking that, no, I should do this for him or her, no, I should do this for him or her, they'll also come in clarity, because the masters will guide them as well, and they will guide you then. Or if they are needed to be around you, they'll be there. Or as you grow your mission, because when you grow in your mission, you will be connected to other souls. They could be animals, they could be humans, they could even be children, they could be old people. Some of them would need help. So all your guides will go to help them. The moment you'll ask help from the guides that please help so and so, please help so and so, please send so and so, someone for so and so, they will help you with that. So the angels are always around, always there to help. They're always so willing to help. Now, on that note, I'm going to end this channeling over here because this channeling is also a sign for you. That's why I'm talking so much about signs over here. That you gotta just keep doing your inner work. You gotta just keep enjoying your life, live in the present moment. And whenever a dark night comes, whether it's a long dark night or whether it's a short dark night, pray to the masters. They will show you some way. And if you still don't feel very confident, that then I'll tell you that focus on the inner work, focus on yourself, and you'll definitely get successful. On that note, I'm going to close it here. Thank you so much for being here with me. One love and peace out.